What is going on, all of you beautiful, beautiful people out there? Welcome back to another episode of Tunnel Vision. My name is Adam. We got a couple guests here today, featured in the last couple episodes. Please welcome back David and Dan. Yeah.
What's up, man?
What's up, buddies?
Hello.
How y'all doing?
To be honest, to be very in complete transparency, I'm absolutely exhausted.
Yes. It is currently 4:28 a.m. on this fine Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, it is Super Bowl Sunday.
It is.
So maybe we should. This is coming out in like 3 weeks?
Yeah. So here are poorly aged predictions for the Super Bowl.
All right, that's it. Ooh, I haven't done this yet.
You first, David.
So it's an audio podcast. You actually have to talk. That's like part of the.
So I think the score is going to be 31-27 Buccaneers. Unfortunately.
Okay. Dan.
I think it's gonna be 28-26 to Kansas City. Rob Gronkowski to get a touchdown and at least 69 yards.
Okay, then. Well, in my modest opinion, I think that the game will come down to 24-31 with a nice little victory for Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. We will find out what happened. Also, I would like to add in that I think the coin toss will land on tails and the national anthem will be over 2 minutes.
Okay.
We'll find out.
Do you guys think Tom Brady will retire if he wins?
He will never retire. He will play until he's 70.
He's got that TB12 juice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's facts. I
Got that.
have a feeling that, why not go out saying that, showing that he is the best?
Because he wants 10 rings.
Yeah.
Does he actually?
Well,
Who wouldn't?
is this if he wins this, is that
7?
7?
Yeah.
That's a joke.
That's a lot.
That's a joke.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're listening to this now, and we all kind of know what happened, so
you both
yay.
you both picked Bucks
Or
and I
nay.
picked Chiefs.
Right.
yeah.
Oh Lord.
I mean, I hope the Chiefs win, but we'll
Right.
find out. It's cool. So, it's been a bit of a long night. We have recorded 2 podcasts now. The second one had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but we are back. We're here, excited to talk to all of you. You're beautiful. Moi. So I want to take this opportunity, because I'm here with my 2 buddies,
The boys.
to just talk about one thing that every male has to experience in his life, and that is females, relationships.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about girls. It's
Okay.
very exciting.
All right.
So I know from our experiences, I've been in a couple longer term relationships.
Right.
I guess everyone here has been within a long term relationship. Is that correct? Over a year for
No,
everyone?
yeah, for sure.
Over a year.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah.
But it is also important to emphasize that only one of us is currently
In a relationship,
relationship.
right now.
Big up myself.
shout out
out.
to Bachelor Life.
Bachelor life. You mean just self-improvement life?
Self-improvement, that's what we call it.
That's facts. You gotta fix yourself before you can give yourself to a lovely lady.
Right.
So all of us here, us 3, we're pretty sentimental boys. Pretty softies. And
Nothing wrong with that at all.
no, nothing wrong with that at all. One might associate the term simp with that. I think we're all quite
I'm
quite a
the
bit
first to call myself
simpy.
a simp.
yeah, man.
Hey, and there ain't nothing wrong with
Ain't-
appreciating a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
No.
Cherish your women out there.
Shout out the women.
Shout out to the women.
So-
Where would we be without you, honestly? The male Gino is just so terrible in so many ways. I'll be the first to say that men ain't shit indeed. I'm here with you. Yeah. So just to start out with, okay, let's just talk a little bit about our good and bad experiences with long-term relationships, right? So, for me, I've had a couple now. you know, and they both ended a little bit differently. One ended pretty good, one ended not so good. Right. You know, and you know, like I said, none of us are really the kind of guys to have like a one night stand, or you know, just like try to get after multiple girls. We're one girl type of fellas out here at the Tunnel Vision Podcast. Respectable young lads.
Respect the women.
Respect the women. Yeah. Yeah. So, what are some things that you guys think are important for a long-lasting relationship? Just like right off the bat. So start out just like getting in a relationship with someone. What are some good things to do when you first meet somebody? How should you meet somebody? Just some stuff like that. Any ideas over here?
I mean, there's the obvious like communication. I think that, you know, you should always be able, whether it's like any sort of like relationship, friendship, boat ship, you should always have a good relationship. Yes. You should always have a good communication with said person, because at the end of the day, a relationship is only as good as its strongest argument, in the sense that like if you can't like resolve an argument with said person, then like that's not a relationship. That's just like a good time sort of deal.
Right.
So I think that like communication is probably what I would consider most important.
Yeah, and kind of going off of that, it's just like I think like with communication, sometimes you can have problems where like if there's an issue that comes up, like one side of the party might want to be like, oh, I don't want to deal with this right now, and might just like give themselves a space, which like space is okay, like to work, like to individually work things out, but I think you have to come together to solve an issue rather than staying apart and just be like, oh, we'll just let time set this, because
definitely, for sure,
communicating like your issue is what solves the issue, not just letting time.
Some people don't realize that like disagreeing is good. Like if you like agree on everything, that like that's kind of whack. That's like that's like you're just dating yourself.
First off, how?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be straight up with you. I've done that in relationships where I'm kind of became like a yes man, and that's just like not to because I'm a type of person that doesn't want to have conflict, and so I just become a yes man, and that would kind of get rid of some issues, and then later down the line there might be some issues where my true colors are like something like that.
Right, and I want to kind of backtrack a little bit to like some of your points there. It's just like with the space thing, you know. I think it's extremely important to have space in a relationship, and like in reference to specifically when you have an argument. I think after an argument, it's important to take some time to like cool yourself down, because you can, in the heat of a moment, like anybody can say something that's like regrettable or that they don't really mean, you know. It's just like you're not thinking extremely correctly per se.
Rationally.
Extremely rationally. So it's important to take that time away and to fully cool yourself off. But I do agree, and like if you have an issue, the longer you push it back, it's just going to keep building. And the more time, it's kind of like you kind of have to gauge it. It's like the more time you're pushing back, the worse the outcome is most likely going to be. Whether if you can like get to the problem immediately and just nip it in the butt, that's probably like the best thing that you can do for a relationship.
Which like, I don't know about you guys, but like I'm very much of a person that like, there's an issue comes up, I try to solve that thing as quick as possible. Sometimes you can't. There comes situations where like there actually needs to be time to like let individuals process. Yeah,
like conflict is rough. Like it's not fun to like conflict with anyone.
Right.
Whether that's like someone you care about or just like it's not fun to argue, but like sometimes arguing and like figuring stuff out is like super important, because like I don't know. I mean, like I said earlier, it's that like if you can't do that, then like you're not going to have any success down the road.
Right.
Yeah, that's something that is kind of like a tell for how a relationship is going to go. It's just based on how you two are at solving things like that. And I found, like, for me, I'm not too much of a serious fella in everyday life, you know. So if I ever have like an issue, I address that kind of in a silly way, and that it works all like situationally. I think that's probably the main thing, is you have to find out what the other person is like, and if you get into an argument or something like that, you have to figure out what every person's most comfortable with, right? So like for me, and kind of like David just said, I'm not the biggest fan of the conflict. So just like for me anyway, approaching it in a way that we like don't take ourselves too seriously, because a lot of the time the shit that you're arguing about is just very stupid and does not matter in the grand scheme of things. Yeah. So
it's always a little stuff to start, but it's like if you can't resolve that, then like imagine something big happens.
Yeah.
It's like
it's acknowledging the little things that do happen.
Right.
Yeah. So in that regard, just be nice to each other, and you know,
well, there
try
needs
to
be,
learn from each other.
For a relationship to work, there has to be respect going both ways.
Right.
They can't be like one way respecting more than the other.
Yeah.
Because like if you don't respect each other, then how do you plan to get through situations where things might get tough?
Right.
You know?
So I'm interested to know, what do you guys think like about so you're hypothetically, for you two, not a call out or anything.
yeah.
Hypothetically, you're in a relationship with someone, you know, down the line, let's say maybe like 20 years from now, you finally find yourself in a relationship. This is totally hypothetical,
20 years,
not me
20
judging
years
you.
is a very long time. Hopefully it's...
Again, this is no
I
judgment.
know.
This is just me speaking fully hypothetically about all of it. Anyway, so let's say you're in a relationship, right? And you know, there's some like like in life anyway, there's like unwritten rules that you kind of stand by, right? That don't necessarily have to be said or like acknowledged by a higher power, right? So what are some unwritten rules of a relationship, do you think?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I know, right? Big brain over here. Okay, I'll start. So, one thing. One thing. And this is something that I have learned over experience in relationships. Okay, so you know, you can take this with, I think, good authority to a point, because I've done it a few times now, and I've learned some things for myself anyway that are very important. So one thing that I'm doing in my current relationship that's working very well is just like, and we touched on this in a couple podcasts ago, I'm not exactly sure which one it was, just about texting, and I think it was with you, Dan. I'm a pretty terrible texter.
Ah, yes.
Okay. And I'm a person that enjoys talking to someone face to face, whether that's through FaceTime or in person. And I don't really enjoy like that back and forth over text, just because it's very hard to like read social cues and stuff. And sometimes things can be perceived in like a wrong way. So for me, I don't love texting during the day. Right. And that's also part of me being like a person that enjoys my personal time and like needs time alone by myself. Right. So I think one of the things that you should take into a relationship is giving time for yourself, not like fully devoting every single minute of every single day into that other person. Because if you give yourself completely to said person, you're not going to have any of yourself left. And the reason you got into that relationship in the first place is because you were an individual person, not because you were a part of something.
Yeah,
for sure.
Right.
I think we've all had instances where that's happened, where you put yourself all towards a person and it just falls apart, and you just like,
you've kind of lost yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's probably like, it's like, I'm sure it's like our parents just seeing like, you're just like so lost, like, I don't know who I am. And your parents are like,
yeah,
what the hell? Like
Yeah.
Just you're that person before this person. It's like,
right.
It's scary.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that it's like wrong to evolve with your relationship, because I think you can take like really important things from any relationship, whether it's good or bad. And I think one of the best things that somebody can do is like take any kind of situation and adapt from it and better themselves from it. So it is not to say that, hey, like just fully be who you are and never change, right? There are some things that there is good change and there's also bad change. So it's just trying to be aware of how much of yourself you're giving away and what the good things you're taking from it are.
Yeah, and I kind of going off of that is like saying, like you were saying that, for example, like make sure you have time for yourself, but also make sure you have time for your friends as well. Because like the last thing that you need during a relationship is to either be with said person or alone. Like, and like especially like we were saying, like you have those friends for a reason. And it's like the sort of thing, it's like, and it's super easy to be like uptight and try, especially early in a relationship. It's very uptight, like trying to be your best, like shit, and that can be tiring. So like having those people that you're comfortable with and your friends, for one, they'll keep you grounded. Because like if you're doing something stupid, they're gonna tell you.
You
need that in a relationship. Like if you're doing something really dumb, like your friends will be there to tell you that you're being dumb. Yeah. And I think that there's nothing better in a friendship that when you get to that point where it's like, hey, you're being kind of stupid. So let's fix this. So it's like it boils down to like personal boundaries, you know, in the sense of both setting those for you in your relationship, but also for you in the sense of like, okay, like. And like I would say like a red flag in a relationship would be like, oh, like, you know, like you need to spend more time with me than like these set of people. Well, like it's kind of dumb. It's like if you end up spending time with said person, and it'd be really unfortunate to like lose a set of friends to one person, because after your relationship, like anything can happen.
Right.
You know, and
especially at our age.
Oh,
you know
100%.
I mean, like, because I mean, I don't think any of us are planning. Well, we're probably some of you guys are. You're probably planning on going to grad school, right? Eventually.
Maybe, yeah. Probably.
Yeah, I'll probably go to, like, get a master's and whatever. Do you?
I'm going to do some stuff. I don't know.
I'm do some business.
Right. But, like, and, like, anyway, like, we could all end up in different parts of the, like, United States.
Yeah.
Like, and your significant other can be in a completely different other place. Like,
right.
You just, like, especially at our age, like, I feel like you should always be able to, you know, as cliche, and I hate saying this, as cliche as it is, like, live your life to the fullest.
Oh.
So
snaps.
I know.
Come on.
Snaps to that.
How about that?
Look at this guy.
That's so genuine.
Big brain, bro.
God's brain. Wow. How'd you get so smart, man?
Dude.
Well, I kind of want to comment on this because I've been in that exact situation before, personally. I have lost
Lots of friends.
I've lost a very good friend of mine to a past relationship, and it's very unfortunate. And in said relationship, it was kind of like the thing you were talking about, where you have like devoted all of your time to them, and they've kind of been like, in a way, like, hey, you should spend more time with me, and when you do spend time elsewhere, it's just not.
It's not the same.
When you spend time elsewhere, they're like upset by that.
Right.
So, you know, it was, well, actually, yeah, I've lost a couple good friends through it. One specifically, like, very good friend of mine that, like, grown up with just after said relationship. But even during the relationship, there's, like, you know, I had a friend group with a couple girls, and I, like, they tried to like warn me about, hey, like, watch what you're doing, and I was like so caught up in the moment that I was like, why are you talking bad about my girlfriend, like, you know, like, whose side are you really on, kind of thing. And so I was questioning them because I was so like caught in the trap of it all, you know. And getting out of said relationship afterward, looking back on it, it's like, shit, man, I completely messed that up. Like, I was looking at that so wrong.
I can almost say, like, explain that from a different point of view. So I ended up leaving the relationship. I was in high for like I finished like the second half of like my senior year being single, and like just hanging out with the boys, and that for me was such a freeing thing, because it was kind of like, it wasn't like like I missed out on this, but it was kind of like, okay, like in your brain it's like, okay, it's kind of cool like having some boys, you know?
Right.
So it's kind of like realizing that, you know, like having that space and having those friends is really important.
Right.
And it's like, and just spending the time with people that aren't your significant other, will for one make your relationship better because it teaches you to like treat the moments that you have together with the right attitude. But it's also like, you know, as cool as someone is, like you spend time with that person like 24/7.
You're gonna get sick of them.
You're gonna get sick, and you're gonna run out of things things to talk about real quick.
Especially, and I think that's another reason why like a lot of relationships failed over quarantine, because all you were doing was just, you know, sitting on your phone or just literally like looking at like a clock literally turn.
Certainly relationships of like our age and like high school age.
Right.
Yeah, and I also think that quarantine has it's kind of rooted out some relationships, and it's shown the cracks in some relationships, and that's something that a lot of people have gone through throughout quarantine. It's like, oh, I really liked this person, but the second I had to spend all of my time with them, it kind of exposed some things that maybe you were trying to like hide from yourself.
Right.
Yeah. So. But it's also in the opposite sense done the opposite for some people, and like obviously we have some good friends that have gotten engaged recently.
That's true.
So like definitely like it's that whole thing is that like some people understand how to spend that time together and when to not spend that time together, but it's also like it's just balance. You know, it's all like just chill, balance.
Yeah, man.
No. Yeah, I mean I think because all right, so it's kind of like I want to ask you guys about like a ratio, as awful as it sounds. Like, what's a ratio?
Bringing math to the
like,
podcast,
right? Like, I'm a chemistry major. What do you expect from me? So, from like
acids and bases.
Acids and bases. There you go. You're learning. So you got yourself, your friends, and significant other.
Yeah.
So how often do you think you should spend time for yourself? Like if you have, let's say if you have 24 hours.
Well, okay, that's very tough because it depends on the person.
Yeah.
First off, let's say
that's
that.
True.
Right.
That's
so
true.
if we're to generalize it, like extremely generalize it, because, like for me, okay, for example, versus Dan. Okay, I'm someone that it really enjoys my alone time.
Yeah.
Right? Dan really enjoys his social time. Right? So he might be balanced one way or the like, you know, we would be
and absolutely like there is always still I remember during the quarantine when I was home with my family, I absolutely love him to death, by the way. Is that
shout out real quick?
Just let me say that before I just shit on them.
No, is that I would have moments where it would feel like I was very claustrophobic in the sense I was always seeing them and stuff. So I would have to spend like an hour or two just like on my own in my room, and I would connect that to a relationship in the same sense. It's like kind of like what you're talking about. Is like, obviously different people need different amounts of time to just be alone, but it's like just like that alone time is not like a punishment. Like you shouldn't if you're coming at it from the mindset like these three boys on the website are telling me I have to spend time alone. It's like no.
Right.
It's like that's times for like self-improvement, rest, and stuff like that. So it's like it can be really. So it's certainly something I've learned in the last year or so is that like, you know, doing nothing can be the best thing to do sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. And also, like with your family, that is just an example of a relationship. It's just not it's not a romantic relationship. So it's kind of the same thing. Like even for like a friend or family, for example, right? It's the same kind of balance that you have to find. Now, I would say back to like your ratio thing. If we were to like generalize it extremely, I would say out of the three, you want to
yourself is the most important.
Well, I would say you want to make them as equal as possible, right? And whatever you value the most, I would just take away from the other two a little bit and then expand that one by a little.
Okay, so let's take it like this. So say you have obviously your 7 days of the week, and you need to prioritize it 3 different ways. Okay. So how would you? So obviously it's not just like you're picking like I'm spending time by myself for an entire day.
Right.
No, obviously simplifying it down. But how would you personally split that time of like 7 days 3 ways? Right.
So for me, it would be 2 for myself, 2 for my friends, 3 with my partner. But then that's also a thing of, again, It's different for everyone. So, like,
Yeah.
what about you, David?
Like, let's say if I was in a relationship.
Yeah. Theoretically, in, like, 20 years.
Okay, so, so, like, at what point in the relationship are we talking?
Dude.
Okay, like, no, I'm saying, because it's different. Because, you know, like, in the beginning of a relationship, I'd probably want to spend more time with, like...
You're a seasoned
I
vet.
would say you're, like, committed to this person.
Okay,
You're,
so
like, a
you're
year in.
You're not like courting. Like, it's like,
Right,
this
right.
this is
You've,
a
like,
significant other.
found flaws in them, but you're still okay with them.
I'd probably go... honestly, I'd probably go the same as you.
Right.
Because I feel like that's the most...
See, so here's the interesting thing. So you are correct. I am a very social person, but I also very much value my alone time because I am so social that like I need to like take time away. So I think I would actually go 3
More alone
myself.
time. Really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that kind of makes sense because when you're with people, you like really out there.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's especially people that are like I'm quite quiet with people I don't know, but like if I like kind of like you and like, you know, we're cool, like, you know, I'm not gonna like hold back from that. I'm gonna like be me.
You're bouncing, bro.
I'm bound, you know, just having fun.
So you go 3 yourself.
I would go 3 myself,
2
2 friends, 2 relationship. Obviously, it changes on the week, but I think generally,
Yeah, it's just a general basis kind of thing.
But I definitely think when you're in the beginning of a relationship, I think it's very risky because like when you get in a relationship, you start that like honeymoon phase. You know what I mean? And we all know what that is. Like, and it's just like I feel like that's when people like start the whole thing of like that person is my world.
Yeah.
And I think in the beginning of a relationship, you actually need to spend more time for yourself and with your friends.
I actually
100%.
extremely agree with that. Yeah.
Like with the significant other. And then, because I've been in a relationship where the honeymoon phase
it can fizzle so quick, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
well, but it's also like if you set the standard is like I spend five of my 7 days with you, it's really hard to pull back from that.
Right.
Now, you can add more. Like it's like okay, like I kind of dig you. We've been hanging out for like 3 months or so. Okay, like we can like hang out a little more, like and stuff like that. But you're not like you don't want to like. It's really hard to be like, oh yeah, like I still really like you, but like you know we want to hang out like a little bit less because like no one's gonna be like, oh yeah, like okay, like there's always even if it's just like as like a little like micro feeling, it's like it's always like oh like you want to spend less time with me,
right.
Yeah.
So it's about setting standards in that sense.
Yeah, it's definitely important to have that separation at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's extremely important because if you're just with them non-stop for hours upon hours, it's like, yeah, I get it, I like you, but eventually it's gonna fade out, and then like you're just gonna be pissed off about it. Like, give yourself space and give yourself time with your friends as well, because especially when you get into a new relationship, you can like lean so heavily on that person, and that puts like such a burden on said person, and like you know your friends better than you know whoever you're dating, right? And it's a hard thing is because like we're in a relationship, so they need to know everything about my life like immediately, and then like you're just dumping all your stuff on them. It's take it slow, man. Like chill out a little bit. If you're seriously there for the long haul, you don't gotta dump all your baggage on the first day, right? You can be slow about it. But here's something I want to bring up about the splitting time thing. I also think it kind of depends on like your love language.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair, actually.
Right. So
I was talking to someone about this, and like personally, like I feel like my love language depends on the day.
Really?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can see that, but it's like it's like quality time, touch. I don't know. There's probably a whole list of like.
It's like quality time. Touch is a big one. I see that a lot. There's like talking is another one. I'm not sure of the others.
Clearly we're not.
We're not. Well, with that said, I will say mine is quality time. Mm-hmm. I'm a big quality time dude, and in the sense of like, hey man, we don't gotta go do like something insane every day, which like I really want to. Like I want to go adventure and like be outdoors and like go do fun shit, but I also really enjoy the time where you're just like sitting and like just doing something extremely mindless with like your significant other, because that I feel like that is also a place for bonding that might get overlooked.
Yeah, I think I would say probably the worst things is like if you're just sitting there like on a couch or something like that and you're just on your phones.
Oh,
Yeah.
That bothers me so much because I'm like trying to spend time with
like,
you.
Hey, talk to each other.
Right,
And that,
right.
that goes back to the thing of like, if you start talking to them so much, it's like you're not going to run out of shit to talk about, man.
Right,
Like,
right,
spread it out a little bit.
right.
Chill.
Well, and that
brother.
comes with also like you're like being in a relationship with said person. Like you don't want to be on like your phones and stuff with them, but it's also like you don't want to be on your phone with that person with everyone else.
Right.
It's like, you know, like like really dedicating that time is like, and that's just kind of I think a problem with our generation. And like I would say even me, like I'm not gonna stand here and like on a pedestal and be like I never use I spend way too much time on my phone.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get better at that. Just kind of like being present, I think, is the big.
No, that I definitely feel present.
Look at that.
Thing.
I got it on my wristband.
Was it be present?
Yeah, it says be present. Yeah,
Very
man.
cool.
But and I'm also a victim to that. I'm sure. I mean,
yeah,
everybody is.
I think it's just our entire. That's a whole podcast discussion about
Right.
phones and
Yeah.
stuff. But in general, I
For
would say
real.
that our generation has a big problem with that.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's also, I feel like it happens a lot more when you're like really comfortable with people.
Right.
And so like your family, for example, I feel like you'd be on your phone a lot more with your family around than like with your boys around that you haven't seen in like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that's also a little situational, which is not to like excuse it per se, but it's just like understanding why that might be a thing.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just trying to talk. This is a podcast. Man. I'm just trying to, I don't know, maybe say some like cool stuff. Like I don't know, maybe like, take something away from the girls, man. Yeah. Okay. Going back to girls. So here's another hypothetical situation. Okay, you meet a girl. All right, and she's giving you the signs.
The waves.
The way she's looking at you a little bit differently.
The waves.
Okay.
You know, like you walk in a room and like all your buddies around, and she's giving you those. You know what I'm talking about, like those little puppy dog.
You mean the eyes I give you when you walk in a room?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. She's giving you those eyes. Okay. It's obviously that she likes you and you like her. Okay. What are you doing? What is like the go-to? And don't give me no bullshit like, yo, I'd walk up to her, I'd be like, yo, me, you, we're doing this thing. Like, I'm a big dog. Like, we're just gonna, you know what I'm talking about?
Okay, but
None of that shit.
Oh my
What are you
gosh.
actually doing?
so I'll be straight up with you. It's been a long time since I've done that.
This is
And
all
then
hypothetical situation. So let's
Hey,
say,
man.
for this one, let's say, like, I don't know, like, in, like, 15 years, like, maybe someone finds you a little bit attractive and they're, like, giving you
Right.
those eyes, right?
Right.
Hypothetically.
Honestly, I don't. That's. I'm trying to think.
That was a big sigh. No, I'm totally there.
I'd run, man. I don't know. I turn the other way and I bolt. Like, I can't. This is what they
dance my
scare
man.
me, bro. It's just like, why do they? Was their hair so long, like all the time? It doesn't make any sense. Like, they bleed. Like,
Oh my
why do
god.
they bleed so?
Jeez.
Why are they always bleeding? Like I don't do
No.
that. I don't get it. Like, what is going on?
Okay, let's
So back to the
let's
question
rope
at
this back.
hand.
Let's
What's
rope
with
this
the
back.
pheromones?
Let's rope this back.
What?
Let's.
What?
You're
So-
muted.
You, like,
You've
smell
been muted.
the invisible stuff. Like, it's just, like, what is a pheromone even? Like, nobody ever explained.
Okay, so do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
So many
I'll probably
questions.
Oh my
try to go up to them and try to like see what like common interests are.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Just be like, hey, like, I'm David. Just
Oh
kind
my-
of go through like the hobbies.
Hey, I'm Big Dave.
I'm David. I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, David. No, I'm definitely. It's
I am
like
David, I
it's
can't
definitely
breathe.
like first things to always like. You can always tell like a vibe, like
Right.
if you are like getting along with a person pretty quickly.
Right.
Um,
Well, again, this is in the situation where like you've got the sign.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you need to go up and you're like getting ready to be like, hey, we're gonna lock this down, kind of thing.
Well, I mean, if I was cool, I would probably have some like line that's like, "Hey, we're going out now." But 100%, I'm starting a conversation that's like doesn't make any sense,
and you're like going around,
and then being like, "Okay, so like
you want to get like you want to get Sunday. You want to get you want to get coffee.
You want to get coffee? No, so I'm 100% the person that's like, "Hey, you want to like go get a coffee?" Like I'm that basic.
No, you are. Yeah.
And no, I definitely like always like trying to. I'm the type of person that's like trying to keep it casual, but like 100% will not be casual, in the sense that like
fully trying.
Well, in the sense of like I truly trying to like fully keep myself calm and like and sort of thing, and like I will mess up my words. It's like that like I'm kind of into you if I'm just kind of like what is happening.
Like definitely spent a little bit extra time in the mirror this morning than maybe you would on a typical day.
Yeah, exactly. It's like.
Took a couple tests with your button-down shirt on whether you should do 2 buttons or whether that makes you seem too slutty, and then all the way up kind of seems a little bit Mormon-y, so you're like, I don't really know about that one. My gosh. And then you're just like, I'll try to
all
look
the buttons up.
But you put on a tie.
No, with the ties like.
Are you okay?
Bruh, not
You're going to get coffee. Why are you wearing a tie?
No, I'm just joking around. To be fair, I don't wear buttons anyway, so it's fine.
True.
No, yeah. So it's just like I'm a big person of like. The like trying to ride the line of like being friendly without getting friend zoned. If that's like that like perfect like tightrope,
right?
You know, where it's like, because like I'm not trying to like talk to you and like have a relationship if like we don't have common ground.
So what I'm hearing here, and you can totally,
I will totally shut you
down.
down. I'll totally shut you
down.
What
I'm hearing from this is you're gonna just like subtly try to move towards it, hoping that she will say something first.
No, 100%. I would say something
shut
like.
Down.
No, 100%. 100%, like, I would say something in said moment, but it's like, I'm not the sort of person that's like, hey, we're going to get coffee now.
You're not
I'm not like a demanding.
Get in my car, we're going to coffee.
We're going now. No, I'm not like a demanding person.
I got a deal at Starbucks.
Got a gift card.
I got a coupon from Auntie Cheryl. It's 50% off for a tall mocha. Let's go.
No, yeah. So I've definitely like in any successful relationship, like I just 100% feel like you should be at least some sort of level of friend first.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Like you should know. Like you're not like, I mean, again, knock on wood if this ever ends up happening, but like you're not like meeting someone like on the street immediately, starting dating, and then you're getting married.
No, it's not so. You're not on your caveman shit where you like walk in the room, you're like wife, and
then you just like I'm trying to build something with a woman.
No, for sure, for sure.
You sound, like totally off topic, but you sounded like a lot like Bill Clinton right there. Just feel like I did not have sex relations with that woman.
No, I just want to love a woman.
I want to build a relationship with that woman.
So let me ask you guys a question.
Yep.
So, do you like using like dating apps? Because you aren't able to.
Okay,
like,
tricky thing you put me into here.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. Okay, let's talk for a minute. Okay, so I am not the biggest fan of the dating apps, right?
Check his pulse.
I'm alive. Yeah. Not the best. It's just like a lot of hookup culture, which is just like not.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's just not really the vibe. But that being said, I kind of owe Tinder that. Well, in a way, that like for this new relationship, because this girl and I, who you'll meet eventually, her and I, knew each other for years. For a very long time, since like the 3rd grade, and way back, bro. And there's had been some like just like a little bit of history in the past, nothing insane, just little bits of stuff, right? So we didn't really like talk a lot through high school, and went our separate ways. Never thought I was gonna speak to this woman again, and then I was just browsing on Tinder one day,
bored,
just bored out of my fucking mind, just like trying to look at some girls, as you do, because you don't want to go on Instagram and like search up like anything weird,
Anti-Sues.
what's the Barstool thing? Barstool Smoke. You don't want to hit up a Barstool Smoke shows because that's in your search, and that's just like a whole thing. So you're just scrolling through Tinder, and I see this chick, and this is actually super cringy, but I'm not gonna lie about the story. So I'm gonna tell it legitimately. So I had run out of swipes for the day.
As you do.
And this is a full simp moment. Shout out to all the I don't know. Anyway, so I ran out of swipes for the day, and I was looking, and I was like, "Oh, I know her. I want to swipe on her. This would be funny at the very least, right?"
Oh yeah.
So I was looking at it, and I was like, "Oh, I can't swipe." So I may or may not have kept the app open for 12 hours until I got them restocked so I could then swipe. And
That's kind of wild.
My guy.
That's my
That's
guy.
kind of wild. I
That's
mean,
my guy.
fair play, but
Does
like,
she know about that story?
What up? Yeah, she does.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if she found out through this podcast, that would have been
That would have been jokes.
Yeah. So that's a thing.
I think you're totally right about
Locked it down,
It's
though.
mostly like the like hookup culture. I'm not really about
No.
like
Not a vibe.
like I said, trying to find a wife.
Exactly.
It's overplayed as shit. Like, nobody cares about how many people you slept with. You're not any
But, like-
cooler from it.
like, the thing is,
Get
like-
over it.
Even if someone, and I was talking to Dan about this earlier, like even if someone has had sex with 3 people or 300 people, in my mind that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Because like all that matters is the person's heart.
Oh my god, babe.
Oh, so
It's
cute.
So cute.
I know.
Wow. Find this man a wife.
Yeah, I was saying.
You guys are my wives.
That's true.
Aww.
I love you
Aw.
too. It's too late. We're getting too sappy and
I
shit.
know.
This is like not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but
Fine.
legitimately, I do agree. You know,
Yeah.
it no matter what someone has done or been through, and this is like from a standpoint like you were talking about, like no matter how many people they've had sex with, you know, as long as they're someone that you can see yourself fully investing into at the time, like why does anything in their past matter?
Yeah.
You know, like
It shouldn't. You know?
no, it shouldn't at all. And you should just be okay with who they are now.
Right.
You know, like we all got shit.
Right.
Every single person here has shit.
100%.
And you know, things that we might never like fully want to admit, or like, you know, some things that we've like rooted back in our minds. We all have some kind of baggage on us, right? So why are you the person to say that someone's baggage is worse than your baggage?
For sure.
Because it's all all just on like a person to person basis.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Mhm.
you know.
So, So here you go. Before we start to move, so what would you say is like one like non-negotiable like in a relationship? Either that's like a
Don't fucking cheat, assholes. Don't do that.
don't do it.
That ain't right. That's fucked up, man.
How about you, Dan?
I would say don't take yourself too seriously. Like in the sense that like there's the time to be serious and like have your good fun, but like laugh. Laughter's cute. Always laugh.
Okay. Probably non-negotiable is just like, you know, it's kind of like what we talked about earlier. It was like just make time for yourself. Like don't surround yourself with that one person.
No.
And so are you saying that in the sense of you, or you want to make sure that your significant other is also
both.
doing that?
It should be both, because I mean, like, you cannot grow a relationship as a couple if the individuals aren't given time separately to grow with it by themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they say, like a relationship is like a train or something like that. I can't remember what the phrase is, but like
If
one part of the train isn't moving, then the whole thing's not going to move. But if both are moving at the same time, the whole train's going to move.
I have a couple others.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Another one. Honesty.
Right.
Be honest with each other
Right.
at all times.
even if it sucks.
yeah.
I will be straight up. I suck at being honest because I don't want to hurt another person's feelings, but it's something that I'm working through.
Yeah.
And what everyone should be.
And that's
trying
okay.
to.
Right? We all got to work on shit. everybody's got at least one thing they got to work on, right? And this just back to not everybody's perfect. But try to be as honest as humanly possible. Because if you're caught in a lie, it's going to hurt way more than what that lie might have like fixed, right? Because now what you got on your hands is that you lied about the thing and they found out about the thing, and they're always going to find out about the thing no matter what it is.
100%.
Always going to find out eventually down the road.
So the grapevine.
Exactly.
Just
somehow they're going to find out. Okay? So just be honest. Just tell people the truth. And another one. I had another one. Oh my God. I've completely lost it. I'm so passionate about being honest.
I mean, you should just be honest with yourself and accept. You should just be honest with yourself and accept the fact you probably didn't actually have a third one.
I had another one. I swear to God, it was actually really good too. It was like deep in my brain, and I really searched for it for a long time.
I don't know what to tell
And
you.
now it's I had the fish on the line, and then it buckled up and just completely like ripped the line off, and now the fish is just gone.
Just like how the fish is dead right now. Next topic.
That's like morbid as fuck. What happened to the fish, dude? Like,
we gotta
where did
move
the
on.
fish go?
We gotta
Like,
move on.
I'm kind of worried about this fish right now. You know
I don't know what's
mean?
happening with the fish either. At least it's like goldfish.
Nemo.
Oh, if it's goldfish, they're gone in seconds.
Oh, toilet bowl for that thing, bro. Out of here.
Out of here.
Gonzo. Never be seen again. Oh, I have it.
Ah,
I have it.
See, it was a
Okay.
goldfish.
It was very important. It was very, very important. This is speaking from personal experience on such a level, okay? Don't fall too fast. Words to live by, okay? Again, with this honeymoon phase shit, you are like putting your blinders up to like everything about this person that maybe you don't like. And something about love, right, that I have found...
Addictive?
Stop. Something I have found is that, to a point, I get what you mean. But to love someone is to take all of the things that you dislike about them and still love them regardless of that, right? And that's something that you might not necessarily get within like the first month or few. Right? You have to fully assess your feelings about a person before you put that kind of burden on them. Because that's what you're doing when you tell somebody that. Because that can be very powerful. You know?
It's that border between like infatuation and like love.
Right.
And that's a big step that should not be taken.
Yeah. The second you put that word into it, and I get it's just a word. The second you put that into it, changes the game. If anything happens from that point, it is a more personal attack on that human. So it's just like be careful with your emotions. And another thing to live by, like within a relationship, that I'm getting more and more as I go, man. It's another thing. This is just like another phrase that I've heard a ton. It's like, it's one thing to love somebody, right? But it's a completely different thing to like somebody.
Oh, 100%.
You know, you can fully love someone. You know, I have people that I fully love in my life that at a point I just didn't really like them, you know, and that's okay. But, you know, if you don't like them, don't lie to yourself about that. And also like make it a priority that you still like all those things about said person, because that's something that people say a lot. It's like, I'm falling out of love with you, but I feel like a lot of the time when that sparks, it's they're falling out of like with you, right? They're losing those things.
I can see that, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Because like at the end of the day, I know like we've all had conversations with this, like the people that you've had relationships with that you have loved, you don't ever stop loving that person.
Definitely.
It's different. Like it's definitely different. But you still like care for them. You still it's like
for sure.
And if you have someone that you are on that like deep of an emotional level with, that you have said those words, like you are always going to feel that no matter what. And you should, if you're fully meaning the things that you say, because and a lot of times in relationships, especially the ones that last a long time, you're going to find out a lot about that person, and they're going to know a lot about you. you know, and it's a thing of, even if you have like a bad breakup or a good breakup, it doesn't matter. You're always going to want the best for that person because you did deeply care about them in that way. If you were truly in love with said person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Girls.
Speech over. Boom. I don't want to drop. That would actually be like
That would be
very
awful.
bad
That
for
would be
everyone.
awful.
I don't want to like hurt anybody. But yeah. Yeah. Girls are cool, man.
Girls are really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Here's another thing, just like real quick. It's like, don't be that guy that can't have girlfriends, like friends that are girls. You know what I mean? Like, be able to look at and just like anybody that you're attracted to, be able to like separate the things, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's another thing with just like not being a fuckboy.
Let girls
Right.
let
Don't
girls
be
have
a
guy
fuckboy.
friends, like guys have girlfriends.
Yeah,
Right.
that's okay. And that's something you should have. You should strive to have like those friends that you are attracted to in like some sort of like
The homies are great. The
sexual
homies
way.
are great, but sometimes you need like not the intensity of
Right.
say like your like
Right.
best guy friends.
Right.
right. And vice versa.
Absolutely.
You know, it's important to have the ability to have the boundary to not be like the second you see someone that is the opposite sex, you're like, I want to
Right.
fuck him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
I
like,
completely agree.
be cool, man. Just be cool.
Be cool.
You're gonna be
dude.
all right, dude. Like, it's just take a minute with me and just vibe.
Oh gosh.
I think I've danced on all 3 of these podcasts.
Same.
It's just, you know,
Yeah.
it's late. I stayed up way too late yesterday too, so now I'm just in kind of a vibe mood. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna join.
Yeah. Can you join, please? Let's just all vibe for a minute. Just wherever you are, unless you're
This
driving.
is the weirdest segue. ever.
Unless you're driving, just take a minute to vibe. Is this a segue?
So
are
is
we
it- actually, let me ask you guys a
segueing?
question. So
What?
I wanted to talk about this topic.
I mean,
earlier.
we were vibing, but what you got?
I'm gonna keep
Sex
vibing.
in a relationship.
Ooh, this is a big one. This is a very big one. Okay.
So know
I
there's,
have
like-
feelings.
So let me ask you. So there's some relationships where you have it all the time, and there's moments, or there's some relationships that you have it on occasions, and there's some that you literally don't do it until you get married.
Yep.
I know some of them could be like religious or like cultural backgrounds or cultural reasons. Where do you guys sit with that?
I will go first. I think hormonally, I'm totally there.
The pheromones.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, 100%. Like hormonally, like, you know, like I think sex is great, but what I would say.
You said I'm cracked.
No.
Ladies, you look
It's-
out.
No.
Hey,
Let me
I
finish,
got you.
Let me finish.
Am I right?
Let me finish.
Tell me 2 times. Am I right? Oh.
No, let me finish.
Where's that down?
No, but I would say that. I mean, I think emotionally, I 100% would say either save it for marriage, or like at least like someone you are very much trust. Like, I don't think it's something that you should be throwing away. I've definitely during like different points of like felt like, and kind of like changed my mind on that. But I think that like when I like actually sit down and I'm like not just
about it.
like a hormonal 19-year-old boy,
Right.
that like I like in reality that like in reality I think it is something special and something that should be saved, marriage, or just when you have a strong relationship with said person.
Do you think it's applicable to everyone, or it should be like based on choice?
No, that's a personal choice.
yeah.
No, I do not. I know. I do
Okay.
not. Think that,
I wasn't sure if
no,
you were
no,
talking
no,
like
no,
personal.
no.
Yeah, okay.
No, I am a big believer in the fact that like I'm allowed to think what I think.
Right.
You're allowed to do it. Like if you want.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
If you want to like do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Go
I just
for
wanted to
it.
make sure like
That's
you
not my
clarify
place.
that.
No, that's not
Yeah.
my place.
Yeah, gotcha.
But I think personally for me, stuff like that's just so much more special when you hold a deep emotional bond
Right.
with that person.
Makes
Right.
sense. What about you?
So I I think I kind of agree with Dan. I have actually a really good buddy of mine who he's like waiting until marriage, and I like respect like the heck out of that. I'm like, good for you, man. Like that's like pretty awesome. I would agree with Dan about like, it's like I feel like if you have it way too often, you go to that as a resort of, oh, we have an issue, so we're just going to do this to solve the issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's like really unhealthy.
Yeah.
So I think by having it on like, let's say like special occasions or, you know, like when you're ready for marriage and stuff like that, and you know, like it's like the right person, I think that's like the appropriate amount. But, you know, we are, like you said, we're 19 hormonal people.
Absolutely. And like,
it's hard. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to like kind of like stop.
Yeah, it is.
Because like you're like, oh, I know I only want to have it like on special occasions, but you're like, you know, today's Sunday.
That was funny.
He was in the middle of a deep conversation. You gotta let him. You gotta let the man speak. Continue.
You'll see it in the.
You'll see it in post. Just continue.
Okay. That was pretty much the end of mine. So go ahead.
Okay. Listen up. I have a different opinion. Okay. Separation of church and state. Okay. Separation of emotion and sex.
That ends in Y?
Yes. So, okay, here's my thing. Being totally serious. I think you can fully separate emotion from sex, and I think you should be able to do that, but you should also be able to have both of those things simultaneously. And I think it is important to acknowledge the fact that it can be separated, and that is okay. But in like kind of what you were talking about, I think you're correct in saying that it can be used in a way to deflect from things going on. And I know I've definitely experienced that in a relationship, and it's, you know, at the time, right, you don't really see it because again, you have the sex blockade in front of you, you know, see so far, right? And
no pun intended, but you have tunnel vision.
Why are we okay? I'm so sorry.
It's every podcast.
It's really late,
some
man.
Tunnel vision.
It's just.
You can smack me later.
It's incredible how. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. Where was I? Yeah, so you should just be, like, in that case, right? Just be aware of that, because if you're having an argument, right, don't run away from said thing. And I know we talked about that earlier, but one of the things that, you know, someone can do in a relationship is try to use sex to deflect from that. And that's a very negative thing, and that paints sex in a negative light, and that paints your emotion in a negative light, right? Because and I think this is important to say, I think it can be a problem when you can't separate that, right? Because when it's all invested in the same place, if you get caught in a situation where you're deflecting by using sex, it is probably because you can't separate the emotions from the physical thing. And that's, in my opinion, anyway.
Right.
And it's different for everyone. And that's the most important thing to remember. It is different for every single person, and you should be able to be flexible on whatever your opinions are based on your experience with life.
Well, and I mean, again, it all comes back to communication, in the sense that, like, you know,
beat me to it.
It's the sort of thing where it's like, so obviously we differ on that.
Yeah.
But, like, that's okay.
Yeah, these are still my homies.
Yeah, exactly.
Still my boys.
So, yeah, you just gotta, like, communicate at the end of the day. Like, I mean, we could like talk for an hour about the fact of how we feel about girls and like how like this and that and then sex and all that, but at the end of the day, it's literally just communicate. And if you can't communicate, or you necessarily don't agree with that person and it's a deal breaker, then it's a deal breaker. And there is a person out there, I believe, that is meant for everyone.
Right.
So,
and
you
got it.
It's kind of weird to think about that, though. Like, sometimes you're like in such a shitty situation.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You're just like,
you get blind to it.
No, yeah, for sure. And you're just like, wait, there's like actually like someone like out there. I don't know if this is actually the person that's supposed to be, or this could be someone that literally have never met. That's crazy.
That's the crazy thing.
That's the
And
hardest thing.
And I know, like, the unknown for me personally can scare me. So you're just like, crap, I haven't met this person. Like, I need to go, like, meet everyone.
Right.
Forgetting the fact that we are 19 and in college.
Right, exactly. But, like, I meant to bring up this point when I was before this. Like, where do you guys sit with, like, cause I think in our generation, and you guys could have a different experience with this, but I feel like there was a big hope that we would have, like, high school sweethearts. Or, like, pressure is the right word.
I think it's a media. I think it's less high school romance and more the fact that, like, we see so much social media and this and that of, like, relationships and, like, love and, like, sex and, like, all this stuff just, like, shoved down, like, and, you know, and always being shown. I think that it's less that, and, like, you know, like, love is a really cool thing. So, like, when you see someone experiencing that, you're like, hey, like, I kind of want to feel like that.
Right.
So I think that it's less like, I want to find high school sweetheart, and more, hey, I'm getting to that age where, like, girls kind of looking a little cute.
Right.
You know, like, let's find me a girl. You know,
let's find me one.
Let's find me a woman.
Okay, well, I don't know what media y'all are looking at, but for me, just looking at the internet, if we're gonna bring up the media about it, right? It's like what I see on the media on a daily basis is just celebrities, and before I say this, totally cool. It is totally fine to, like, jump around from relationship to relationship, but what I see a lot of the time is just different celebrities dating different celebrities and then breaking up, and then it's a huge thing, and then they're dating a new celebrity, and it's just that over and over and over again. So I don't know necessarily if it's a thing of, like, we have pressure to be. I would say even that it's, like, in the age that we are in now, that it is even not encouraged per se, but even, like, okay to be in a situation where you're not locked down with one person and you're going around and, you know, doing your thing that way. Like, I feel like that is something that's much more encouraged. Whereas, like, when our parents were, like, doing their thing, it was like, hey, let's get married, let's do the thing, right? Like, wife them up, here we are. But now it's like, hey, go have fun a little bit, explore, figure you out, and then, you know, maybe when you're 30, get married, think about having some kids, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe, right.
So that's just from what I see.
It's a personal,
and
it's a personal choice thing.
Yeah,
well.
and that's what it all boils down to, is it's totally personal.
Yeah, some people are like that. Some people are like, let me find my Disney prince. You know, like, it's a sort of thing where it's just the beautiful thing about relationships and love and women is that it is catered to however you believe you feel and however you want it to be.
Yep.
So, you know, you will be influenced by all sorts of stuff, whether that's family, media, friends, social things. Like, there's so much that will try and push and pull you, some good, some bad, at least with how you view things.
Right.
And so it's just kind of like finding your way, kind of like what you're saying, is that, like, finding where you fit into all of that.
Yep.
And so, like, and that's like, if you don't know who you are, then you can't give yourself to a person, because like, then what are you giving to a person, right? Know? So
yeah, I'm of the opinion that everything happens for a reason, and when I say that, though, I wanna preface by saying I don't think that there is an unwritten, or there's a written out plan for you in life where you're just gonna, like, hit these, like, little checkpoints, right? But I think that in that phrase, what I mean is, like, you know, no matter what happens, you can take reason out of it, right? You can take something out of it that's gonna help you moving forward. So in that way, I think everything happens for a reason, not in, like, there's only, like, one timeline and you're just going down that and you can't really change anything about it. So not, like, why are you worrying about it so much, kind of thing.
No, for sure.
So,
no, I've always lived by the saying of, like, everything happens for a reason. Like, I don't know why certain things have happened down my life, but you know what? And, it was a bad situation. Yeah, it was shit. It was a shitstorm. But I'm happy that happened.
You can learn from anything.
Exactly.
Oh, exactly. And I'm the person I am now. Would not think I'd be the person I am like a year ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And it's just like, and I'm happy that I'm here, even though the shit that I had to go through. And like, it's like, I'm not saying like, oh, I've gone through so much. And like, we all have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I'm just happy from where I am now. Because like, it's all about making improvement at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure.
And the things that you go through will get you to where you want to be.
Definitely. And that's the whole thing, right? We go through all that shit, and you might not know what it necessarily means at the time, but it's important to always try to find meaning in it later in life, right? So, for just like an example, right? Like, getting diagnosed with Crohn's as just like a random example, right? Something that I was like, why did this happen to me? Oh my God, I'm like never gonna live again. Right. Later down the line though, I've learned a lot from it. I've pulled a lot from it. So therefore, am I happy that I haven't? I mean, not necessarily, but like without it, I don't know if I would have matured as quickly as I did.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's always something in any kind of negative.
Right.
And even with a relationship.
No, yeah.
That kind of thing too.
I think I've kind of learned just be happy. I mean, it's as awful as it sounds, just be happy with the shit that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Because kind of like how you like with Crohn's, with CF, and like with the shit that you've gone through, it's just like. Sorry.
You sounded so disingenuous.
No, absolutely no. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
Is that everyone has their stuff that they've been through.
Their little quirks.
Yeah, well, yeah, 100%, and like, it makes everyone unique. So.
Yeah. All right, that was deep as shit. Let's talk about some stupid shit now, okay? This is the Lads podcast. You know what lads like? They like women and they like sports. Am I right? High five. Yeah. So today on the new segment we have brought in through this recording session. And through this recording session, let me finish what I'm saying first.
New 3 times.
Are we done?
Absolutely.
The tunnel vision topic. Here we go. This week, sports. Which one's the best and why? Boys,
Reveal.
Boys, grab your balls and show them to the camera.
All right, ready? 3, 2. Yeah,
I already did it.
I'm going to show the right side.
Okay.
Under Armour.
So today on this episode, I will be fighting for the right of basketball as the best sport. Dan as the old football, soccer.
Football.
And then David over here,
Football.
the pigskin, the football.
American football.
America. Okay. And hold on, before we
Baby hole.
just give me like 1 second.
Oh
okay.
my gosh, not again.
This one's a bit of a long one, so I'm like sorry in advance.
So I think it's shirtless.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this
sorry,
is,
no.
this is happening.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Ugh. How y'all doing?
Why are they on the same?
Yeah, why are they on the same side?
Shh. Don't speak. Just let it happen, man.
Do you actually wear a sleeve when you play basketball?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my god.
Okay.
You're one of those guys.
Wait, hold on. Let me get my hair like really poofy so I like look less, or I look more like a douchebag. That's kind of what I'm going for here.
You're just
How do I
giving
look?
people. You're just giving people reasons
Cool?
not to pick basketball.
Cool.
For sure. For sure. The
Oh,
only
yeah.
person that's going to be saying, like, you is going to be, like, your girlfriend.
Yeah.
All
right, who would like to start?
You know what? Why don't you start while you're in the?
Yeah, you're
in the.
I want to go last.
No, you're not going.
I
last.
started last time.
No.
I did. Did? Go.
When?
Okay, so...
It's my podcast. I do what I want.
So, with football, right? American football, not soccer, not English football. So, I personally really enjoy the sport, like, watching it, because there's always something entertaining with the sport. Like, you can, like, always learn new things about, like, different routes, different, like, type of defending. And football is always really entertaining, because you can see people literally, like, tackle, like, the shit out of each other. And you just, like, see, like, someone, like... Unfortunately, there are a lot of, like, injuries that can happen, but that's kind of it kind of goes with every sport except for soccer, because, they're a whole bunch of pansies. So... Just get crushed.
Okay.
So...
All right. I want to see how we're playing.
It seems like you just really endorse violence, and I don't know if in this America if that's really acceptable.
But continue.
So, football... I mean, I need to defend. I can't. I'm too tired to think of ideas right
You're
now.
just bad at arguing. Okay, Dan, you go ahead.
All right, football. Or for the
bad
sake
one.
of the audience, soccer. It's quite literally the world's game. Nowhere else, like you're not gonna see like people in like Eastern Europe playing football, like American football, and certainly you'll see people playing basketball, but not to the magnitude. The World Cup is the biggest sports event that happens every 4 years, where people literally from the entire world come together. It is.
Have you ever heard of the Olympics?
If you look at TV,
So
if you look at TV viewership, the World Cup is the most viewed.
Sorry, you're putting me to sleep with how boring your game
no,
is.
It's not. No, okay.
Exactly.
It is.
Oh,
it
look,
is
they scored a
a.
goal. Whoa.
It is a
Yeah,
sport.
1-0
Hey,
after 95 minutes.
I didn't talk during yours.
It's just funnier this way.
Let me speak. It is a sport that takes a lot of finesse, and while it is not, albeit it is not as physical a sport as perhaps football is. We're not tackling each other. It is quite physical in a different way. Albeit yes, they're not. So yes, there is issues like that in a sport, but there is also like head-to-head tackling in football that should not happen either. So let's not pretend like that sport is perfect either.
Well.
So. But no, there is a lot of artistry and finesse, and it's there. You're not gonna like American football does not bring people together, and like it's sort of thing like in
not during COVID times, of course.
Obviously not during
Are you
COVID
encouraging
times.
bringing people together during COVID times?
But
Are you talking about breaking COVID
here's
protocols?
The thing. So have all of us with a group of people we've never met ever played football together? No. Have all of us with a group of people we've never met before played basketball together? No.
Wait, hold up.
Like a big group of people.
Time out. I literally saw a group of strangers when it was snowing playing flag football at Towson.
I'm speaking us because that's what we were talking, right?
Right.
We have all gotten together by choice.
We have
to play soccer together.
We have all played basketball together.
Yeah, that is
not like
fact.
with strangers. No, we've played like
because
four
you're
of us
ass.
friends. That's different.
No,
that's not different.
No, we have.
We have.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he hasn't played
all I'm saying
pickup
is
soccer.
All I'm saying is that soccer is the sort of soccer is a game that anyone can play with anyone. There's a lot of nuance to it that makes it really special.
You're describing every sport. Every sport anybody can play with anyone. That's like the whole thing.
Right. I mean,
okay, now I need both of you to shut up real quick while I talk about.
Sorry, so you want us to be quiet while you talk?
It is my podcast. I can just edit your stupid face out of here. Except I'm like not that good with Adobe Premiere, so I probably couldn't do that. So continue. Anyway, basketball, right? I would say that basketball is out of all of them, the most accessible to just any random person, okay? In the sense that, you're going and you're just playing a game of pickup with all of your homies, right? You always see people out in the parks playing b-ball. You just need one ball. You get however many people you want. You go and you just start shooting some hoops, man. It's really cool. And like you can even see in like some different countries where maybe they don't have a hoop. They'll just like take a little box and then they'll like cut out the bottom of it and they'll hang that up somewhere and then they'll go start playing some basketball. I think it is one of the most accessible of the sports, right? You don't need that big of a space like a soccer or a football where you get this giant ass field. You just need like a little like half of a court, if even, right? You don't need that much space at all. And I mean, look at like children's toys, right? You don't see a lot of football toys. You might see like some tiny soccer nets, but what you always see little kids have are like the little basketball hoops with the little Nerf ball, right? All over the place. And one of the most exciting of the sports, I would say, basketball is, because there's just always offensive defense just transitioning back and forth all of the time. High scoring, very physical, just going and going and going.
You
nonstop.
flop too.
Everybody flops.
Bro, they flop.
Football players
they
flop.
flop in football too.
Everybody flops.
Not that. Nowhere near as often as.
Oh, you are so capped.
I'm not capping at all.
It is unbelievable the amount of cap on your head right now.
There is no cap on my head.
Look at this. This is a toupee looking ass.
Bro.
Anyway,
There's less flopping in football than there is basketball and soccer. You have to agree with that.
Yeah, well, there's also a lot less skill in football than there is basketball and soccer.
I never said these players were smart.
oh!
Okay,
so if we're ranking David as third.
Yeah.
No.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's my guy.
Majority?
That's my guy.
All right, cool.
That's my guy.
Let's go.
See, they bully me.
It does happen, I will say.
Oh, we love
and you know what else about soccer is stupid? It's just so confusing, like, with the leagues out in the world. There's so many leagues. And, like, I get that's a good thing, actually, because, you know, there's a bunch of different leagues and a bunch of different places, and, like, people can go all over the place and just say, so worldwide sport, it's great. But you know what? It's just, like, the most fucking confusing thing to follow in the world. If you follow the Premier League, you have to worry if you're a top-level club, like... let's say Manchester City, for example, who are the GOATs. Fuck United.
City, we love you.
Yes, right. So you have to worry about 4 different things going on at once. You got the FA Cup, you got the Carabao Cup, you got the fucking Champions League, and you got the fucking Premier League, and you got to worry about all that shit at the same time. Shut your mouth. I don't need this from you right now, okay? You got all that shit to worry about for just like one league. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, why is there so much shit going on at the same time? Like, just play the game. It's just like so confusing. Like the point system and everything just doesn't make any sense. You know what it does make sense? The NBA, bro. It just got like a couple teams. They're all
a couple.
Yeah, man, there's a few.
You realize that there's more leagues of basketball than just the NBA.
Yeah, but nobody cares about the other one.
Well, then I don't care about the Romanian league.
What about the Bundesliga?
Okay.
What about La Liga?
Well, yeah, I care about.
What about MLS?
All right, shout out, Miami.
Yeah,
Miami. Yeah,
David Beckham.
David Beckham.
Yes, sir. Yeah, but it's just too confusing. It's just a lot to keep track of, and that's for me as a casual fan. You know, I'm not out like betting every day. I think the NBA is the easiest to follow. There's the least amount of players. It's not a shit ton of teams out there. It's all in one league, one nice space for you.
I would say that football and basketball are about the same about how easy it is to follow.
Well, it's easy to follow because it doesn't have a worldwide audience.
It could be a detriment though, because it can be so expansive that it's like. So much to take in, and that's why a lot of people.
NFL has a worldwide.
Well, but like a random person from like Scotland, like they might have some links to like I don't know, like the LA Rams, but like it's sort of thing. The thing about like soccer, like albeit there are a lot of teams and a lot of leagues. I'll admit, yes, but especially some of those lower league teams, like. It's a passionate fan base. Like if you're like lower, let's say you're like in like the 7th division of like English football, it's you have such a tight fan base, but also like football is all about like the Cinderella story, in the sense that like if my team worked really hard, we could go from playing like Sunday League to the Premier League. Like there is a situation where that happens. If you're in the NFL, the same 32 teams are in the NFL no matter what. If there was relegation in the NFL, the Giants would be long gone by now. And like there'd be so many yes, there are parts of soccer that are quite complicated, but it makes it that much more special. And the soccer is genuinely I mean, all sports, but soccer especially, less so in the U.S. because we don't have local teams like in the same magnitude as say other places in the world. But if you're like your local soccer team is a huge part of your culture.
Right.
Are you done?
Are you done making faces at me?
No, it's just because it's like one of the most complicated sports in the world, and it's also like one of the most boring. And my final argument for you is that when you look at a Jim Hardo, per se, right? You look at one of those guys. What is the one thing they're most likely to skip? Leg day. What is the primary muscle that you use in soccer? Legs. Therefore, invalid. Anyway.
What?
Really appreciate you coming out. For this episode of
Football's better. You already know. Put it in the poll.
Why are you still talking? Are you here? Stop. Go away. thank you for coming out and watching this episode of television. Big shout out to these two for coming out and recording these episodes.
It's
My
bedtime.
boys. Go check them out on all their social medias. I'll put them in the description down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, rate it, do the comment thing.
Comment team football.
Yeah.
But also, while you're
10 seconds to subscribe. I'm not going to do that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.
Bye.